Good morning, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut with Mike Kelly and Real Estate Jerky Daily, and it is Wednesday. It must be California number day,
It
or
is
is it
no
Stanislaus
today's
County numbers?
Stanislaus County number
I
days.
knew it was some type of number day.
County.
It's
Watch
getting
this.
close to Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, remember day I call it. Remember that time.
Remember the fallen.
All those peoples.
Remember
We're
the
up.
fallen.
Look at this. We're up.
We're all, well, of course we're going to be
1,223 closed transaction. That's a big jump from last week.
What's that? 4 and 3 weeks.
Yeah, 4 and 3 weeks. So it's
4 3/4.
Are we already into? Yeah, we are.
Yeah, it's almost because it's the 21st today, so that means there's only 9 more days, 10 max. I don't know.
When did May start? Was it like on the first?
On the first of the month. Yeah, it starts every first of the month.
1223 divided by
4.257. So right at 255, close enough on average. Yeah.
5.3.
5.3. No, because it's only 4.75. Because we're not fully done with the 5th month, so you can't. We're not in the 6th month, so it's 4 3/4 weeks. Yes, you don't trust my numbers.
Hey, it's 257. 257 closed transaction per month since the beginning of the year.
Good thing your contract auto populates.
Yeah, I know. Well, mostly there's a few blanks I have to do. 368 pending sales. We've been in the 360s every month since the beginning of this time, 25. But listings are up a little bit, 757. That's up about 100.
Pending's not really doing a lot.
No, they just kind of hang.
I'm just saying, well, you would think with that many active, you'd have that many,
at least a few more pendings.
Correct.
I do notice that some properties are staying on the market a little bit longer in the higher price ranges. I would say in the higher price ranges being 500,000 and above, people seem to be still being a little cautious, even with all the good news that's happening in the world today.
Well, the negative news is the 10 years at 4.54. It keeps going up and up and up.
That doesn't make any sense.
It does make total sense because of all the inflation worries, all the other worries that are out there.
But the last report on inflation was pretty darn good.
I know, but they're worried now because the consumer confidence came in so horribly. Yesterday you weren't here. So, and
was it kind of an Eeyore day?
Yeah, it was the worst since 1952.
It can't get 1952.
Mm-hmm.
What were the numbers?
I'd have to go back yesterday and watch the show.
I can listen on my own.
Let's see if here it is. I can just open this in a new tab because I'm so amazed.
You are available to do those things.
Yes. All right. So let's see here. All right. So consumer sentiment hits historic low.
Wow.
The University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index dropped to 50.8% in May, the second lowest since 1952.
Wow.
Here's the reason why. The inflation expectations surged to 7.3% over the next year, which is the highest since 1980.
And that's called the inflation expectation.
Correct. Which they
so it's not anything that's going to happen, or did happen.
They think it
could happen.
They think it can.
Yeah. Well, if my aunt had testicles, she'd be my uncle.
Yeah. Over 60% of respondents expect higher unemployment, the most pessimistic read since 2008 financial crisis. You like how I'm adding that little extra there? Important content.
You're dolling that up.
The most responses came before the positive trade developments with UK and China. So we expect potential rebound in the next month's data. But the other thing came out yesterday was they are, I don't know if it finally passed, but it was the VA Home Loan Reform Act.
Yeah.
HR 1815 passed the House by voice vote. I guess that means they just vote. Yes, it's good. It moves to the Senate. I don't know where it's at today. I haven't looked, but it adds the permanent partial claim option for VA borrowers. This replaces the VASP program. The VASP program came out when COVID, because all the vets who got behind on their house, they were supposed to go through this whole modification and everything else, and they would, save them and they wouldn't lose their home.
Right.
That program died and went away because it had been around for a while. Well, FHA has a partial claim option, which means that they can put up to 12 months of missed payments as a partial claim on that loan, as a separate loan so that when you refinance or sell the house, it gets paid back. The partial claim is because of the mortgage insurance.
Okay.
So now they're going to do the same thing for vets, for a VA home loan, where you could have the same option to have a partial claim option done to where that you don't get kicked out of your house. And you can put that on there up to 12 payments and down the road. So it's a positive thing for veterans. Yeah. So it's a huge
VASP.
That was the old one. Was
Okay.
VASP. Now it's not WASP.
Is it WASP?
Yeah. All right. So that was yesterday. All right. Today, what do we have? A global influence on bonds. A very weak bond auction in Japan has raised red flags over the coming debt sales, sending Japanese yields higher. All falling on their swords.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, UK inflation surprised to the upside, causing the 10-year yield to climb, causing their 10-year. And since global bond markets are interconnected with US yields are rising in sympathy. We're so sorry for you. We're going to rise also.
I got to go that direction too.
It's like your sympathy pain when your wife has a baby.
Yeah, I didn't have that.
Sympathy eating.
Yeah, I did have that.
Let's see. What do we have?
But I'm still due.
What did we have come out today? We had Mortgage Banker Association released their mortgage application data for last week, showing that overall application volume decreased by 5.1%.
Okay.
Applications to purchase were down 5% for the week and up 13% year over year. That's really going down. That's pretty bad.
I think
refinance, because last year I'd say more volume than we did right now. Refinances decreased by 5% from the previous week and were 27% higher than 1 year ago. In September of last year, we were 220% higher because it was a good time. The problem we're running into, again, rates are going the wrong way right now, and people are worried about what's going on. They're worried about their job. They're worried about a bunch of other stuff that's going on.
I think it's put a dampener on action in the valley for the last 2 weeks.
I think so too, but I have people wanting to get qualified. I have people looking at houses, but it's got to be the best house and best everything and everything there. And people are writing offers and sellers are like, no, I don't want to take that. And they're like, okay, sorry.
Yeah. I got an offer on one of my listings and it was, you would think, oh, wow, that sounds wonderful. 25,000 above list price. However, the appraisal would never come in at that price. And then they needed 4.5% back for their closing.
So the 25,000 over was for them.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. And those sellers weren't really going to realize it. And the other thing is, no way in hell would it appraise.
So that must have been like a CalHFA.
It was. Because
the only way CalHFA works, somebody else has to pay for everything.
Yeah. And I think you can go up to 6% with CalHFA.
Well, you can on FHA too and VA, but I mean,
but there's not that many expenses, right?
No. The problem with CalHFA is the mortgage company doesn't make any money. They have to do borrower paid, and they have to charge the points, and that's who's paying the points is the seller is paying the points to paying the mortgage company because CalHFA doesn't allow that kind of stuff. So
remember the good old Nehemiah?
No, thank you.
It was crazy, but I've actually closed quite a few of those. And guess what? They're still in their home.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, CalHFA is fine, but it's just where rates
expensive.
are right now. You can't raise it enough to do anything with it, to pay for anything, because it's too expensive with the interest rates.
Yeah.
Or it seems that way, because tomorrow it could be really a deal.
Yeah.
It depends on where the rates are. So the couple of feds were doing the circuit yesterday talking, and one of them, I'm not going to get into who said what, but just what they said. They warned that U.S. labor market is likely to weaken.
Okay.
Kind of like what I just talked about earlier.
Right.
And that prices could climb despite cooling in U.S.-China trade tensions.
Right.
The other person said the U.S. economy may be on the brink of a new wave of price hikes. Ooh, even though Fed anticipates rising unemployment, they're reluctant to cut rates.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going on. This is, again, we've never had a situation like this before. We've said this like so many times.
Yep. And we'll say it again. Listen.
Where we don't know what we don't know because we've never been here before.
Right.
And
we're trouncing on new ground. And you read.
Wow, we're so far behind on Instagram. It's still showing your numbers.
Really? Well, the speed was good. So
maybe I didn't start it at the same time.
Yeah.
So bottom line,
let me do my numbers again.
No, that's okay. Bottom line, we're going to say this: if the house is the right house for you,
buy it.
do it.
Yep.
Yeah, because
It'll never be cheaper.
Nope.
Ever, ever, ever. So there.
Yes, I know. What are you going to do?
Well, hopefully
go buy
purchase.
a house.
Yeah, go buy a house.
This is when people are running. When
it.
people are running, that is the time to buy.
Yeah.
Rates are. You can always down the road lower the rate. You're not going to be able to lower the price. I mean, I still think people think that, I'm going to wait until people are really jumping. But also, we got two things happening right now: graduations,
right?
Kids getting out of school,
right?
There's a bunch.
First vacation.
Yeah, they normally at this time, Memorial Day weekend, and then it slows down a little bit, and then it picks up.
Yeah, Remember Day weekend has always been kind of slow.
Labor Day,
Remember Day.
Oh, it's Memorial Day. Why is it Memorial Day? We remember the
fallen. See, remember.
Yeah. So remember Mr. Biden this week.
He hasn't fallen yet. Well, he's fallen many, many times.
Well, he's fallen many times.
And I'm sure he'll fall again.
Yeah. Now he's got some really fallen.
It cracks me up. I do have to say this. It absolutely cracks me up. The Democrats that are finally saying, "Oh man, they hid his frailness to us and his inability to think." No, they didn't. That king was naked the entire time. You saw that he was naked. You were just fluffing his feathers and trying to make him look as good as possible.
Because they were able to get their agenda passed. That's all they cared about.
That's all they cared about.
They didn't care about him. And that's
I think Jill Biden should be sued or put in prison for elder abuse.
I think she's for malpractice.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, she is a doctor, right?
She is.
I guess a doctor.
The other stuff is just.
All right, we're done talking about.
Yeah, I'm done.
Let's call it a day before we get into trouble.
Hey, kids, have a wonderful Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday, and that Thursday brings you so much closer to Friday.
Which brings you so much closer to Monday, which we're not here on Monday.
Yeah, because we're going to be remembering people.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be at an event on Monday, but I'm gonna say I can't because.
What's the event?
It's over at Riverbank. They have a Memorial Day thing where they want us to be there with tables and talk about Operation Firewalk and all this stuff. But I don't have all that stuff for Operation Firewalk.
Not yet.
Yeah, it's not there yet.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, everybody, make it a great day. Thanks for being here, and Mike, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Love you all.
Bye.